Right now, somewhere, a man with $8 million is lying awake, feeling poor. He's not faking it. He's not being a baby. And he's not ungrateful. His brain is honestly telling him he doesn't have enough, and by one strange little rule, his brain is actually right. You probably think that if you could just hit some number, pay off the house, get to your first million, whatever your finish line is, the worry would finally switch off. You'd feel safe. You'd breathe out. You'd feel rich. You won. And it's not because you greedy, or weak, or broken. There, as a part of your brain, built hundreds of thousands of years before money even existed, and it has one job. Its job is to make sure that whatever you just got stops feeling like enough. Scientists have measured this. They can show you the exact moment it resets. And once you see how it works, you'll never look at your own wanting that quiet little voice saying you, almost there, but not quite the same way again. Let me start with maybe the saddest study ever done about happiness. And I mean that as a compliment. In 1978, some scientists went looking for two groups of people at the total opposite ends of luck. The first group had won the lottery. Big prizes. The kind of money that, on paper, should reach into your life and fix every problem you've ever had. The second group had been in accidents that left them paralyzed. People who had just lost the use of their bodies. About the worst luck most of us can picture. The scientists sat down with both groups and asked simple questions. How happy are you right now, day to day? And how much do you still enjoy the small stuff, a good cup of coffee, talking with a friend, a nice morning? Here's what you'd expect. The winners should be floating on air, the accident victims should be crushed, and right after each thing happened, that was pretty much true. But that's not what the scientists were really checking. They were checking the normal level, the regular, everyday happiness each person settled back into once things calmed down. And at that everyday level, the gap between the two groups had almost closed. The lottery winners were not really happier, day to day, than regular people who'd won nothing. And here, the part that has bugged scientists for 50 years, the winners said they got less joy out of life's little moments than the people who never won a thing. The money didn't lift them up and keep them there. It reset them. The amazing thing quickly became their new normal, and the second it did, normal stopped being enough. Scientists gave this thing a name, and the name is perfect, because it tells you how much ground you actually gain in the long run. They called it the hedonic treadmill. That's a fancy way of saying a moving floor like the ones at the gym. You run and run, but you don't actually go anywhere. You end up right where you started. The idea comes from a paper way back in 1971 with a super exciting title, Hedonic Relativism and Planning the Good Society. I know, try not to read it all in one sitting. But the idea inside it is simple and kind of brutal. People don't feel rich or happy or successful in a fixed way. We feel it compared to whatever we just got used to. Sit with that, because it's the whole engine. Your brain isn't asking, do I have enough? It's asking, every day, do I have more than I had before? And the second the answer is yes, the raise comes in, the house is paid off, the number is hit, your normal quietly slides up to match it. New normal. Same little itch, right where it always was. The raise that felt amazing in week 1 is just my paycheck by week 12. The car that thrilled you in the driveway is just the car by spring. Nothing went wrong. Your brain just did its one job, which is, apparently, to quietly ruin nice things on a schedule. And here's why your brain does this. This part changes how you see your whole life. For almost all of human history, this exact thing is what kept your ancestors alive. An animal that feels totally happy and satisfied is an animal that stops. It stops hunting. It stops saving food for winter. It stops trying. And in a harsh world, an animal that stops is an animal that doesn't make it. The ancestors who lived and had kids, the ones whose genes you were carrying right now, were the restless ones. They reached the goal, felt good for a few days, and then the good feeling drained out and they wanted the next thing, almost without meaning to. So that low little feeling that you need just a bit more than you have, that's not a flaw in you, that's the engine. It's the best motivation tool nature ever built, and it was built on purpose, without an off switch. There's an even deeper layer here. Your brain actually runs two different things that we usually mix up. One is wanting, the other is liking. A scientist, named Kent Berridge, spent years pulling these two apart. Wanting is the chase, the craving, the pull toward the thing you don't have yet. Liking is the actual pleasure you feel once you get it. And here's the cruel trick. These two don't match up. Your brain is amazing at making you want the next thing, and pretty stingy about letting you enjoy it for long once you've got it. You're basically built to chase harder than you're built to enjoy. And the cruelest part of all? This whole system has no idea money exists. It can tell more food than last winter, from more money than last year. It just runs the same loop forever. Reach, get used to it, reset, reach again, until you die. Sorry. But wait, you're thinking there must be a number. Some level of money where you finally have enough and the treadmill just shuts off and lets you rest. In 2010, two big deal scientists went looking for that number. And these guys were not small-timers. Daniel Kahneman won the Nobel Prize. Angus Deaton also won the Nobel Prize. Between them, basically all the trust in the field. They looked at answers from almost 500,000 people. And they found something. Your day-to-day mood, how often you feel happy instead of stressed, did go up as money went up. But then it leveled off. Past a certain comfortable income, more money bought less and less extra daily happiness. The line bent and went almost flat. So there is a kind of ceiling on how much daily peace money can buy. Which sounds great until you really think about it. It means the person earning way past that ceiling is getting almost no extra daily happiness from it. And they, often working longer, stressing more, and risking more to get money that quietly stopped turning into good feelings. The bank balance kept climbing. The feeling stopped answering the phone a while back. Let's make it a real person, because numbers slide off. Picture someone making $50,000 a year, totally sure that 100,000 would fix everything. Then they get the 100,000, and for a few months, it's great. Then 100,000 becomes the new normal, and from up there they look over at the people making 200,000, and a little voice says, "That's the real finish line." So they climb again, and they hit 200, and right on time, the voice points at 500. The view changes at every level. The voice never does. There, even a name for the heartbreak waiting at the top of each climb. It's called the arrival fallacy. That just means we all believe that finally getting there will feel as good as we hoped on the way up. It almost never does. The wanting was huge and exciting. The getting there is a quiet afternoon that feels a lot like the one before it. Then there, one more twist, named after the man who found it, the Easterlin paradox. Don't worry about the name. Here's the idea. At any one moment, inside a country, richer people really do say they are happier than poorer people. That part makes sense. But here's the strange bit. As a whole country gets richer over many years, as basically everyone's income goes up together, the average happiness barely moves at all. Read that twice. If everybody gets richer, nobody feels richer. That tells you what your brain was really measuring this whole time. It was never your money. It was your spot, your rank, where you sit compared to the people right around you. And rank is a game that can never have a finish line because no matter how high you climb, there's almost always someone sitting one step above you. Which brings us back to our man from the start, lying awake with $8 million and a racing heart. He's not comparing himself to the billions of people who have way less. That would let him sleep just fine. He's lying there staring up at the one guy he knows with 80 million. The treadmill found him a step above. That's all it needed. So is the answer to just stop wanting stuff? Become a monk, want nothing, sit in an empty room and call it peace? No. And the research is pretty clear on why that doesn't work either. You just trade one quiet misery for another. Here's the useful part. The treadmill eats two things the fastest: status and stuff. A fancier job title, a nicer car, a bigger number. Your brain swallows these almost the second you get them. That's exactly why chasing them feels like running on a belt that speeds up to match you. But the treadmill is slow, sometimes really slow, with a different kind of thing. Experiences, which don't turn boring as fast because they don't repeat the same way every day. Close friendships, which your brain somehow never fully takes for granted. Real progress towards something that actually matters to you. And notice it's the progress, the climbing itself, not the arrival, because the arrival fades in days like everything else. And last, the boring little habit of stopping to notice what you already have, before your brain quietly slides, normal, up, and hides it from you again. So the people who actually beat the treadmill aren't the ones who hit some magic number and got off. There is no number. They're the ones who figured out the floor was moving the whole time and decided to stop feeding it. the two things it eats fastest and gives back the least. So our man, lying awake with his 8 million, isn't broken and isn't spoiled. He's running the same program you are, the same one that dragged every ancestor you've ever had up out of the dirt and pointed them at more. A program that was never, not for 1 second, built to let you feel like you'd finally made it. The number you're chasing right now, and you know exactly which one it is going to feel almost the same as where you're sitting today. Give it about 90 days after you hit it. 90 days, and the new will have become the normal, and the normal will have stopped being enough. That's not a reason to stop climbing. Climbing is a good thing to do. It's a reason to know, ahead of time, what the climb can really give you, and what it never will, before you trade your one and only life for a feeling that was built, from the start, to stay just out of reach. You were never going to feel rich, but you might, once you really understand why, finally feel something quieter and rarer and a lot harder for the machine to take away. You might feel like enough.